Okay, we are recording. All right, thanks for joining the call, Jeremy. So yeah, if you don't mind, just quickly introducing yourself in terms of what you're currently doing. Are you in a role at the moment, and sort of like what how you're finding that role?
Yeah, I'm in a role currently as an IT business analyst, and yeah, it's very busy. There's a lot of different moving parts, and no day is the same, and you're constantly being challenged and forced to find creative ways to complex solutions. But it's a job where I've been in jobs before where they've not been interesting or engaging, and I can safely say that is not the case right now. Um,
Keeping you in
exactly. And I think as a business analyst, you'll always find this. You'll have a role description and you'll be brought in to do something, but you'll often find that you're forced to do different things in
yeah.
different ways. And
We tend to wear different hats, right?
exactly, you have so many different hats on different days to
Yeah.
different people, and how you carry yourself and the approach you take with different stakeholders will really define the level of success you enjoy.
Ah, cool, cool. No, that's good to hear. Um, so before you joined us, right, at Digital Business School, what was your situation before that in terms of what you were doing before, and what ultimately made you enroll with us versus, another company?
I think before I was doing a bit of project management, PMO work, and just looking at what you guys do, it seems like you definitely know the industry inside and out. So having those professionals to teach you the right processes and tools and techniques to become a BA, and also to thrive in that environment, but also give you the support in finding jobs, I think was what really encouraged me to engage.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Nice one. And whilst you were on the program, right? What would you say, or which part of the program that we've got at Digital Business School had the biggest impact on you, on helping you secure the role that you went for and you ultimately got?
I think the interviews support for me was the biggest help. Obviously, having the knowledge is all good and well, but I think how you frame that knowledge and respond to the interview questions, that's a real, that's not something that always comes naturally. Obviously, you have to be able to promote yourself and show your personality and engage the interviewer, but also making sure that you're ticking those boxes and answering the questions in the right
Mm,
way. Citing examples, describing the technique. I think that for me was it was something I had to, consciously think about and do. And I think, you guys helped coach that out of me and
yeah.
just focus the responses, which was, yeah.
Yeah, and just for people that might not be aware, what was sort of like your interview process like? Was it one stage, two stages? What was it? How did it go?
Two-stage interview. So one stage with um first stage was with a program manager and I can't remember if he's director, but yeah, just two senior people in the organization. I did that. It went well. I think they really liked me and I liked them, and there was a real rapport between me and the interviewers. And I had a second stage with the IT director, and yeah, it, it didn't go well the entire time. There was
Yeah,
bits
of course, yeah.
I thought, wow, I'm absolutely botching this, but I think you just got to sometimes, get out of your head and just refocus yourself. It's okay. If you have a second where you stumble over some words or you don't answer something right, people are understanding. So just
Yeah,
catch
it's an
your breath.
interview. The interview pressure is always there, man.
Exactly, and they know that they know it's not a nice thing to be interviewed and have to justify your abilities to somebody. So it's not. Everybody knows it's not the most enjoyable process. So just try to not make it as distressful as it can be. Would be my
Yeah,
advice. Yeah.
I think that's easier said than done. Because even myself, I still get interview jitters, even though I know that, I know what I know what it's about. I know what's gonna happen. I'm quite well prepared for it. But even on the day, you still get that little stomach butterflies that comes through. That can
Normal.
derail it a little bit. But that's just normal, right? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So if you were to share a specific technique or skill, right, that helped you during your interview, because obviously you've said that the interview process, obviously, us guiding you and coaching you on, how to go about answering the questions. But if you were to share one particular skill set that you were actually taught, within at Digital Business School, maybe during the internship or during the webinar, that you actually used during interview? What would you say that was?
Um, process maps is an obvious one. Being able to not just process map, doing the visual process, doing the actual drawing out of the process, but also analyzing the process as you're creating the process maps.
Yeah,
Making sure you're prompting the right questions, making sure you're considering all the alternative, um, responses or directions a process can take, and actually using the process map process to support your analysis. It's
yeah,
not just you're not just drawing something; you're actually trying to, you know, capture a process, but also interrogate a process for through that technique. So I think that's something I picked up, and using the different softwares and systems to create it was something obviously you guys emphasize quite a lot. So that's the one that springs to mind first.
yeah.
Obviously, it's a long
Okay.
time ago, so I've forgotten
Yeah,
a
it's
lot.
a while. Yeah, I mean, you transitioned last year, right? So you've been in nearly a year now, right?
I think 9 months
9 months. Oh,
Yeah.
it's been a minute. Yeah, you've done. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And what would you say to someone that's maybe considering joining digital business school, but they're still currently feeling a little bit unsure, or maybe they're scared to start? What would you say to them?
I just said go for it. Like I think often in this life, we get put in boxes, and we take a route, we study something because our parents encourage us to, and all of a sudden you're doing a job that pays nowhere near as much as you think you deserve, and also you're not using. I don't know about everybody else, but me, I feel like I wasn't being used to my full potential. I felt
Yeah,
like I was operating at 30% my capacity, and that type of environment is self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're doing something in which you're only using a fraction of your brain, you become more limited in yourself. So you
true.
almost live up to the role that you're in.
Yeah,
And I think this role and BA as a BA in general, you can take it as far as you want or as little as you want. If you just
yeah,
want a relaxed job where you do a bit of documentation and you make some process maps, you could find a
it's
role.
there. Yeah,
You can find a role that allows you to do that. If you want a role where you're driving the business and helping, people make key decisions and sorting stuff out and driving complex solutions to really interesting problems, you can also go there. So
yeah,
I think anybody who's stuck in a situation they're not happy with and they want to fast track their career progression, I would highly recommend.
cool. Thanks. And how long did it take you to land the role? Sort of like after DBS, were you still doing your 3 months with us in the internship, or was it after the
I
how long
hadn't
did
even
it
finished
take?
the course. Yeah, I hadn't even finished the course. So
So it was done. It was still the program was still going on.
yeah,
While you
very
landed
still happening.
the role.
I
Yeah,
passed. I passed my DBS exam. I
yeah.
have a job.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the VCS exam. That's true. Actually, yeah, you had secured the role before the exam actually was done. Yeah. All right. Cool. And how would you say working with DBS during that time and subsequently since has changed your confidence and mindset about your career? In terms of where you can go.
Definitely, it's not to be dramatic, but it's been pretty life changing for me. To be honest, like before it was a 5-10 year plan to be financially where I wanted to be. Now it's a 1-2 year plan.
I'm happy
It's,
to hear that.
it's things before that I thought I wouldn't reach until my late 30s or 40s. I'm now thinking I'll be there before I turn the age of 30. So
That's awesome.
that gives you an idea of the trajectory you can get on quite rapidly if you do the course. And I'm not, so I didn't know you personally before I did this course. I didn't know Kenny. I'm saying this just because it's the truth. That's what happened. I
Yeah.
did the course, I doubled my salary, and I'm looking to double it again.
That's it, and we're going to do that definitely. 2026, double it again,
Yes,
triple it even.
triple E.
Why not? What is our oyster, man? There's a lot of roads to go around.
That's what it is. That's what
And just a final question from me. If you were to use one word to describe your experience at Digital Business School, what word would you pick?
one word. Um, I'd use 2 words: life changing. be honest.
Life changing. Okay, yeah. That's good. Yeah, we'll put
That's
an apostrophe in between, and we'll make it one word. Life changing. Yeah,
that's how I describe it. I've told people about the course. I've got friends who have done it since, and
yeah,
that's how I said, that's how I described it to them. I said this is really a life-changing course if you do it and you apply yourself. That's
yeah.
you got
Key
you got
thing,
to apply
apply
yourself.
yourself.
That's the
Yes.
key word. It's not going to fall on your lap, but
Yeah.
you guys will give us the platform to make it life-changing. But it's
Yeah.
always down to
It's
the
down to the individual as well. Yeah, you can, like I said, you can take the horse to the water, to the water. You cannot force the horse to drink the water, right? They gotta be willing to drink the water.
what it is. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
cool. Yeah, that's it really. From us. So yeah, just wanted to find out what your experience was, how you found it, and how that has helped you in what you're doing right now, and subsequently what you'll be doing going forward. So I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to me today, mate. Really appreciate it.
No worries. My pleasure. Anytime.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna stop recording now.